Ave mundi Ave Maria, Ave milis, Ave pia, Ave bella gratia, Ave Virgo singulari, verbum designaris, non passum incendio. Ave rosas preciosa, Ave virges virgula.
Some years ago, I gave a very interesting talk. The altar servers took the censer afterwards, after I incensed the gospel, and they brought it to the back, placed it under the fire alarm, and needless to say, all hell broke loose. Peter Elliott was here at the time, and Cardinal Gagnon. At any rate, I kept talking. And I'm sure that many of the individuals had wished that the sirens would keep on going and I would shut up. But I outlasted them. So sit back. In the first reading from the Acts of the Apostles, we see Peter and John put into custody. Why? Because of their beliefs. In the present political and cultural milieu, we might also one day experience the same fate. How will we react? In the Gospel, we see the disciples and Peter fishing all night, and they caught nothing. How did they act? They were obedient to Christ. Have you caught anything? No, they said. Cast the net over to the right side of the boat. And you know the rest of the story. My brothers and sisters, we don't know how or when our prayers, our work in the apostolate is going to end, except we know that our efforts will be successful because it is for God. He is in charge. We in the church in these times of turmoil and crisis need to be good fishermen. And to be good fishermen, one must have patience and courage. And I would like to reflect upon those two qualities this afternoon. Patience and courage. The qualities of a good apostle, a good religious, a good bishop, a good layman. My brothers and sisters, if we are going to be successful in our endeavor, we might not find a lot of vocations today, but it's God's church, and He's in charge. And so we have to have faith. It might seem to us sometimes that the ocean of vocations has dried up. And now more than ever, with the political and cultural milieu that we have to face, it's all the more important for us to have patience and to have courage. You know, my brothers and sisters, in the milieu and culture which we face, you will face hostility, as we saw in the first reading. When you stand up for the gospel values, you will be rejected and ridiculed and hated and maybe jailed. Maybe your political rights will be taken away or attacked. But nevertheless, have patience, have courage, and fidelity. If you have those, you will win the battle. Patience and perseverance are twin virtues that brings God's blessings. Patience and perseverance are these twin virtues that will bring an immense amount of blessings. Patience means remaining hopeful when our prayers don't seem to get answered and our difficulties pile up. Perseverance is sticking to the tasks we know we ought to, even though we don't see immediate results. Simeon and Anna are good examples for us to follow. Simeon and Anna exemplify these qualities of patience and perseverance. Both had anticipated the coming of the Messiah during their lifetime. But the years slipped by, and he had still not appeared. Even when they grew old, they kept alive the confidence that he would come. Furthermore, they continued to worship and serve the Lord faithfully as they had always done. Then one day it happened, and when the infant Jesus was brought into the temple, Simeon and Anna knew that this child was the promised one. At last, they saw with their own eyes the long-awaited Messiah. My brothers and sisters in Christ, there's a Chinese proverb that goes like this: patience is power. With time and patience, the mulberry leaf becomes silk. It is really not necessary, to be great. To be great in what some might consider outstanding acts. Rather, the greatest and the sublimest power is often simple patience. And we in the United States, and we in the church at times, don't have that patience. In the United States, we are not known for patience. If we were to have a national prayer, it might go like this: Lord, give me patience, and I want it right now. We live, my brothers and sisters, in a culture of instant coffee, instant tea, instant breakfast, frozen dinners, throwaway cameras, and all the rest. It's hard in such an environment to teach patience. But Jesus taught patience, didn't he? On the cross, there he hung. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. When I was a novice many years ago, you can tell by the hair, you see. We had a novice from Philadelphia. He wasn't a Mercedarian. But anyway, he was a man of great patience. And when we were set at the table, and a bowl of grapes was placed before us, he would take one individual grape And then he would take his knife and peel the grape. And then take his fork and flip out the seeds. By that time, the other novices had finished the whole bowl of grapes, you see. We were not very patient. It's the same way with watermelon seeds. I'm from the South, you know, and we like watermelon. I'd like to take a poll sometime. And I bet you would find a great many people who are too impatient. Now, they are a great many who are too impatient to root out the seeds. They just swallow them whole, unless they're really big, you know. I do. Mea culpa, you see. I'm an example of impatience. My brothers and sisters, waiting involves trusting. We need to trust in God. Mother Teresa always said, take God at His word. Take God at His word. And St. Francis de Sales says, be patient with everyone. Yes, even the President of the United States. Even the President of Notre Dame. And even some of the Catholic senators that we have. Be patient with everyone, St. Francis de Sales says, but above all, with thyself. I mean, do not be disheartened by your imperfections, but always rise up and find fresh courage. We need that courage today. Impatience leads to quitting. I can't wait. It's easy to give up. One of the greatest graduation talks that was ever given was given at Oxford by Winston Churchill, who had flunked English in school. And he wallowed up to the platform and took off his hat and took out a cigar and put it on the pulpit. And he raised up on his toes and he said, never give up. There was 5 minutes of applause. And then he said it again, never give up. And there was another 5 minutes of applause. And he said it again, never give up. Put his hat on, his cigar in his mouth, and walked away. They applauded for 10 minutes. Now, if I would leave now, you would probably applaud for 10 minutes too. But I'm not finished yet, you see. Never give up. You know, as I fly across America, I look out of the window of the planes that I fly in. Usually U.S. Air. I'm giving a plug for them today, hoping they'll give me some extra mileage. Anyway, I look out the window and I see the great rivers of America. The Potomac, the Ohio, the Mississippi, the Rio Grande, etc. No two rivers are alike, but all have one thing in common. One thing in common. What is it? They're all crooked. They're all crooked. And why are they crooked? Because rivers take the path of least resistance. They go around a hill. They go through